Greetings, this is your host, Mysterious Mystery, and today I want to talk about two comic books, Giant Size X-Static and Doom Patrol's Weight of the Worlds. Now, I'm going to talk about Doom Patrol first because I've been really waiting for this book to come back since January this year where they released the 12th issue of Gerald Wade's run. Now, they released it under a new name, but when you open it and look inside, this page here, it says issue 13, so they're just picking up where they left off. But they put it under a new name and this first issue and all that. And when I actually I couldn't go to my comic book store the week I wanted to, so I went there the next week. And even so, this was the last copy, so I'm glad it's doing well. Gerald Way is a really good writer. I like his writing style and how he's making these characters interesting. This is Nick Darrington's art on the inside, but it doesn't say who did the art on the outside. I completely mix those words. It's Nick Darrington's art on the cover. I don't know who did the interior work though. But either way, you in the Doom Patrol, you can pretty much see it's reintroductions, picking up where it left off, and it's like from their special Milk Wars, or Robot Man became human again. And the first page, I don't really like the first page. I'm going to just show it to you. It's Robot Man in his human form, so I guess just Cliff on the toilet after him eating the DC's version of Taco Bell. And yeah, he's enjoying having his body again. So he's talking to Casey, and I really like the character of Casey. I wish there would be more issues with it. Here's a picture of her. Sorry. So that they expand her story a bit more, and I really like her character. But it pretty much shows the dynamic between all the members of the Doom Patrol. Casey and Cliff are talking, and Cliff and he pretty much says, "I'll try to stay in contact, but I'm gonna try to live a regular life now." It shows the dynamic between Casey and Negative Man and the Negative Spirit, and this is actually really interesting here. So it shows you see that plane up top here. I'm not sure what that is. At first I thought he's in Vietnam, but I'm not so sure because of the look of that plane. Now the thing about Negative Man's powers is when he's asleep, when the negative spirit's out of him and he's asleep, he experiences another life, and that's a life on Earth. He becomes another person. And the longer he's asleep, the more experiences he has. So if he's in there for if the negative spirit's out of his body for an hour, he's gonna live an extremely what's called rich and fulfilling life. If he's out there for this one is 32 minutes. If he's out there for just 10 minutes, it's not gonna be that experienced. So apparently this form he died in what's called in some war. I'm not sure if this takes place in the future or not. At first I thought it was Vietnam, but that plane makes me think it's something else. Maybe it's a future plot line. I'm not sure. And then he talks to Casey about getting an emotional support animal, which is extremely appropriate for him because he's surrounded by all this negative energy and his body literally absorbs it because of the negative spirit. So he finds and he can sense negative and positive energy. So he finds a dog with a lot of positive energy named Hank. I'll show that real quick. Cute dog. The next page is Crazy Jane. She's now the new leader. If you come off the TV show, Crazy Jane's leading now, but she's not as what's called abrasive as her TV counterpart. So she's pretty much she struggles with her mental health, her DID, doesn't you have multiple personalities, dissociative identity disorder. I'm not 100% sure what she has, but yeah. So she's talking to a therapist and she's pretty much trying to come to terms with she's the leader now, and she's also trying to keep herself together. And yeah, it's actually really interesting. Then she's talking to Casey, and then they're trying to find a new home. Gonna skip ahead of it. Oh yeah, Rita and Flex have their dynamics. Rita was I'm not 100% sure what happened to her, but she became kind of, as Flex puts it, some type of space Jesus. She's pretty much was in this weird amalgamation universe where it was a mess, and she got out of it, but You'd have to read the book for it to follow it, and I'm not great at explaining such a complicated storyline just off the top of my head. So, like, the thing about this is, like, it shows, like, a lot of bright, fun colors. I'm going to show this page here. Like, bright, fun colors. And it's like, that's the thing of it. It's like, has a 80 feel to it. There's only 2 more pages I'm going to show. And then they switch back to Cliff's subplot. And it shows him here. It's like, all the colors are muted and drained. He's trying to find his mother. Because he's, like, trying to talk to her. And, oh, right, this page. I really like this shot, the negative spirit. I heard Nick Darrington's taking over the next issue, so yeah, that's pretty cool too. So pretty much you go to this planet and it's like, I'll explain that in a minute. So it's really, really good though. The art's pretty good. I don't really love the style, but it's good for comic books. And the thing about this is, like, this is what I'd call a perfect introductory comic to someone who's new to Doom Patrol. It shows the characters, it shows their dynamics, it shows what they're about. They go around helping people in strange situations, and it has a bit of a message, but it's not beating you upside the head with it. The message, body positivity. Go check out the book to see what I mean. It went over my head the first 2 times I read it, but then the third time I was like, oh, I get it. And this one is X-Statix, and also a very good first issue. Now, it's reading off of no, it's not reading off. It's based off what's the word I'm looking for? Old series. I can't remember it. I saw it, but I never really picked it up. It's called Giant. I think it was Giant Size X something. Anyway, so it starts with this one girl, and her name is Katie Jones. Her name used to be. Come on, I just saw it. No. What? Katie Sawyer. So she pretty much is taken out of her house in the middle of the night and appears in front of her mother's grave. And she's like, wait. And then, like they said, we need to talk about your mother. She's like, my mother? And then, like, she says, oh, wait, this is my mother. This is my sister. I'm like, oh, I'm going to show you. That's her. That's Katie. That's her sister, Edie. And so he's like, okay, you better sit down for this. And pretty much she's like, tells her that I'm your mother. I had you when I was 17 and I wasn't ready, so I handed you off to my mom, and I want to live my life. And so she's really angry at her, and at first I was thinking, why is she so angry? But then I remember something I saw. This scene. This is where the mother dies. Who do you see? You see the father and you see the main character, but you don't see the sister. So she wasn't around her death, like, because if I'm reading the timeline right, the mother died before the sister, so she's kind of angry that she didn't show up at the funeral, and now it's pretty much her and her dad just to herself, and I think she's preparing to go into college, become an engineer, and now she has all this stuff. He's like, you're immune, and we want you to join our team and be a teleporter. So the thing about X-Statix, from what I can gather, it's like kind of a team of superhero celebrities. Like, what they were doing was, like, they did the whole X-Statix thing for fame, money, and entertainment. They save the world and help people out at the same time, but they are mostly in it for themselves. So the members split up, and they're, like, not really happy to go back, like this guy. He's a gay character. They don't really beat you upside the head with it, which I'd find relieving. And so Edie's trying to manage her powers, and she's losing her temper, and she accidentally teleports the doctor somewhere, like towards an igloo. But yeah, so she's losing more and more control of her powers, and so these people all want her to join their side and be their teleporter because she has a really powerful teleportation ability. But she wants nothing to do with it because she wants nothing to do with her sister. She refuses to call her mother, or her biological mother. She refuses to call her that. So pretty much she gets kidnapped, and the villain pretty much is forcing her. It's like, listen, I have this other. Oh, here it is. It's called the Binometer. It's kind of like a what's called a mutant they built in a test tube. He says it's going to take another, what, 10 years for her to become solid? No, 15 years, there it is, for her to become usable, and he's not going to wait that long. So he said, you're going to do it for me, and she says no. And he's like, has her hooked up to the machine, not giving her a choice. Then X-Statix comes to rescue her, and then they get promptly beamed to the ground. One guy gets, they're getting thrown around. One guy loses his arm, and they have a body positivity character. She kind of morphs herself, and she's a plus size, what's called plus size model. But they do this thing which I find really interesting, and I kind of like. So the villain here shows her, is like, oh, this is what you look like with skin, and then she like starts hesitating, like gets freaked out. So even though she has, and like her mirror tells the truth, but sometimes it lies. So she secretly wants to be thin, even though she's like says, no, I'm fat and proud. But she's not that proud apparently, which I find good, a good character flaw and a foil. So Edie is able to use her power to teleport people away, and she's like seeing the video, and she's like kind of liking the attention, like her. So she's like, I can kind of see why she did this, and she's like, this is kind of resolved a bit too quickly in my mind. She's like, I can see why she became. Oh yeah, her mother's superhero name was You Go Girl, and she says, I think I may be called her mother someday. I'm like, okay, I guess it does show the progression over weeks, but yeah, I think that's a bit too quick. But there's a couple more, there's new issues coming out. Well, the thing about it, and the next one, it says coming next year, is called the Excellent #1. So I'm not really sure what's going on with this series, but I'm going to do some more research so I can find out. And this was also the last issue in the comic book store when I got it. Now, it's written by one of my favorite writers, Peter Milgillian. He wrote Shade the Changing Man, which was my favorite comic book series, but I'm not going to get into that here. Now, the reason I did those two comic books is because I'm planning on doing a video, and I don't really talk about comics too much. I think I've talked about them maybe 1 or 2 times on my channel, so I just want to do 2 comic books I really was looking forward to. Well, one I was looking forward to. I was looking forward to Doom Patrol Way of the World, and the X-Statix, just a pleasant surprise. And those are both good examples of good #1s. This one is a plus size, so it has extra pages, but it does kind of give you a vague impression of what happened in the previous ones. New team, new this, what happened, why they're separated, and why they're coming back together. So it's a good setup, which is always good when you don't feel lost in a story. It does what a #1's supposed to do. It doesn't automatically assume you know the characters, but assumes you can figure it out from the context within the book. Alright, that's all I got for this one. For all those who are watching, this has been your host, The Mysterious Mystery. Bye.